Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, Manchester police try out body cameras in pilot program. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cherry.
Pushed out the door when it matters most. For more than a decade, he's been right there, everywhere. And when American jobs are on the line, he leads the charge. ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast, and we thank you.
Manchester police are sporting a new look for the next couple weeks.
It's been fitted with a ring that you can see that's cut into my shirt.
These body cameras are part of a pilot program that could become mandatory for all of Manchester's officers.
No matter where you go, you either have cell phones, there's video surveillance, you're being recorded everywhere. What the body cameras does, it adds that layer of protection to the officers, the community. It just shows everything from the very beginning to the very end.
MPD is not the first New Hampshire department to test out body cameras. Police in Hanover and Lebanon have instituted similar technology. Boston police began phasing in body cameras last August. For MPD, the reason is straightforward: transparency.
And that's really important for us because a lot of times you see these edited clips or portions, people record a certain part, their attention might be drawn away. This gives the full picture of what's going on.
Officer Mike Buckley is one of the 14 MPD officers in the pilot program. One of his new responsibilities is alerting individuals that they are being filmed.
And I'll hit the camera.
Recording.
You hear this as it's recording. I'll go through whatever we're going to be doing together. Then once I'm ready to shut it off, I'll hit this.
Recording discarded.
The video is then transmitted back to MPD and stored in perpetuity.
Everything is saved in a cloud-based program. If we need to retrieve that for evidence, for whatever we want to view it, we just log on to a web-based site and then we're able to view it from there.
Now, Chief Capano says the exact cost to fund a body camera program is not clear, but expenses for departments of similar size to MPD have cost close to $200,000 a year. Back to you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Very cool indeed. Body cameras. Few details released as investigation continues into woman's shooting death. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
34-year-old Justin Mora waived arraignment on a second-degree murder charge, accused of shooting 34-year-old Tanya Hall in the back last Saturday night in downtown Manchester. Authorities say the victim had been at Club Manch Vegas. The Attorney General's office says there's no known relationship between the victim and suspect, and saying very little about what went on inside or outside the club.
Although the investigation has been very thorough up to date, and we believe we have a good handle of what happened, there still are additional interviews that we need to conduct, as well as maybe going back and speaking to some witnesses again. And until that part of the investigation is concluded, we're very limited in the information we can share.
Jeremy Winslow, who says he's been the victim's boyfriend for several months, describes Tanya Hall as beautiful and accomplished. He says the two were out that night to celebrate a recent sale she'd made, and claims the two ran into the defendant inside the bar.
He had started to walk towards me with his chest open, and not just a single chest bump, but he just kept walking. Tanya was standing in front of me, and she had noticed that, so she kind of put her hand over my shoulder, and she's like, "Get away." Not like a push, but she kind of stiff-armed him.
He says they left, and Mora and several acquaintances approached their Jeep, and that as he pulled away, they heard a pop, and Tanya had been shot in the back. Tanya Hall's family declined comment today. We asked the prosecutor why there was an unusually large police presence inside the courthouse, and he said that decision is made between the victim's loved ones and the victim witness advocate. We're live in Manchester. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. 143-year-old covered bridge in Jackson to face 2 months of repair work. Honeymoon covered bridge to be shut down March 25th through May 23rd. A 143rd-year-old New Hampshire covered bridge is going to be shut down to vehicle traffic for about 2 months for extensive repair work. The Honeymoon covered bridge in Jackson over the Ellis River is scheduled for the shutdown March 25th through May 23rd. The bridge closure and detour signs will alert and guide drivers. The New Hampshire Department of Transportation say the repairs include a full replacement of the wooden bridge deck and upgrade to lights and electronical system. Last year, the bridge was damaged by a vehicle twice in 2 months. A minivan crashed into the bridge support and truss on June 30th, and a truck damaged the bridge roof on July 23rd. The bridge is 121 feet long and 26.5 feet wide. Woman sues Vermont treatment facility over alleged kidnapping, sexual assault. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
According to the lawsuit, on January 5th at 12:45 p.m., 23-year-old Celia Rossler went to her car at the Mall of New Hampshire. After buckling her 4-year-old son in the car, Everett Simpson allegedly pushed her into the passenger seat, and Simpson sped off with the 3 of them in her car. Simpson is accused of driving to Vermont, where he eventually sexually assaulted her in a motel in front of her young son. Simpson eventually captured in Pennsylvania. The suit claims that this never would have happened if the parties being sued had done their jobs. Prior to the incident, Simpson was being held at Valley Vista, a treatment facility in Bradford, Vermont. The suit claims the facility was ill-equipped to handle Simpson, who had a history of violence, that after he escaped there was failure to immediately notify the authorities that he had left, and a failure to provide sufficient staff, services, training, and supplies to properly discharge all of its duties. The suit also claims the state of Vermont was negligent by failing in part to immediately issue a warrant for Simpson's arrest once they learned on the day before the kidnapping that Simpson had escaped. The suit claims, had they done so, it's likely he would have been arrested and re-detained in Vermont.
A WMUR doesn't usually identify alleged victims of sexual assault, but in a statement, Rossler says, "I've decided to speak today because I have nothing to hide from or be ashamed of." We did reach out to Valley Vista and haven't heard back, while the Vermont Attorney General's office is closed for town meeting day. In the studio, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Manchester, sorry about that, everyone. Snowball Fight held in Portsmouth Market Square. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Well,
Well, a snowball fight is a great way to have fun with all the new snow, and that's exactly what happened in Portsmouth today. Snow flew in Market Square, with all ages turning out to build their best snowballs for the semi-annual fight. Once the clock tower in the North Church strikes noon, that's every man and woman for themselves.
It's just like a giant place. It's like you don't even have to sign in. You can just start checking snowbirds out people. And like my dad's about to do to me right now.
Gotcha. I'd call that wicked fun. Organizers try to hold the event after a snowstorm, but only if the snowball making conditions are right.
Okay, and there you go on that video. Looks like a fun time out there. Snowball fight. Chad Kid Elliot Perry receives U.S. Cellular 16 Under 16 Award. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Well, a big honor for one of our favorite kids here at WMUR.
He is just the cutest thing ever. Remember Chad Kid Elliot Perry? He's just been named one of U.S. Cellular's 16 Under 16 The Future of Good recipients. The award recognizes young humanitarians and the good that they do for the community. He also likes Jeannie State a lot.
You can do some
Elliot spent the first 121 days of his life at the Children's Hospital at Dartmouth Hitchcock, and since then he's raised $100,000 for that hospital. Elliot's new 16 Under 16 award also comes with a check for $10,000 for Chad. So it just continues what he has given back to that hospital that did so much for him and set him on a great path.
He is a wonderful kid, big personality. He is hunting for my job, so I get a little nervous, as you mentioned before.
He does for now. He's doing well with the donuts.
He's welcome to fill in whenever he wants.
I know he's going after it, so I know you're out there watching, Elliot.
Yes. As long as he doesn't get too used to meteorology, then he's after my job.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Very cool indeed. Congratulations to Elliot Perry. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market did for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market and how your U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in, the red went down. Your Nasdaq closed in, the red went down. S&P 500 closed in, the red went down. Gold closed in, the green went up. Oil closed in, the red went down. U.S. 10-year closed in, the red went down. Euro/USD closed in, the red went down. And VIX closed in, the green and went up. Stocks dip as investors monitor U.S.-China trade talks. Target rise on earnings. Stocks closed marginally lower on Tuesday as investors weighed ongoing trade negotiations between China and U.S. along with strong earnings from Target. House to vote to condemn anti-Semitism in Turk rebuke of Rep. Han Omar. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Are fired back at President Trump after he called for her resignation over her tweet considered by many as anti-Semitic. Omar responded with a new tweet telling the president, quote, "You have trafficked in hate your whole life against Jews, Muslims, indigenous, immigrants, black people, and more. I learned from people impacted by my words. When will you?" Omar had apologized for suggesting that members of Congress support Israel because they're paid to do so, but President Trump dismissed her apology as lame.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that did it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night, everyone. Bye.